Paul ordered a taxi Monday, October 28, 2024, 8 a.m. Our bus was leaving at 9 a.m. I told him, you remember in Tirana we had to wait so long until the taxi picked us up. But well, here we are in Sarandë and it's basically off season, not many people there, it's not so busy, we should be fine. While we were waiting for the taxi, I got a bit discomfort and just my usual nausea, anxiety on moving days. Luckily, we were still at home because I had some diarrhea and on purpose, I didn't eat anything. I thought it probably would be better without food. I would feel better without food. At 8:26, after texting the cab company again and again, he finally called. And he woke up the woman that is in charge of the cab company. Well, at 8:39, finally, a guy picked us up. And that's the problem when you are somewhere touristic, but you're there off season. There's so much construction going on because it took us quite a while to get to the bus station. There was a lot of construction going on also on the roads. At 9:02, we made it into the bus. It was so full and there were some seats free, but not two together, except for the row in the very back. 4 seats in a row, there was one guy sitting. So there we had space and at least we could sit together. 9:06, the bus left and of course I got a little bit of nausea. So right away I leaned on Paul and closed my eyes to prevent it from getting worse. It helped, but I still got some anxiety and nausea flare-ups. For me, the best would be to lay down in the bus, especially at the beginning of the bus ride, but it wasn't possible. The bus was really so full. It was so full, some people even had to stand up for a while. I was just so glad we made it into the bus and we could sit next to each other. Very soon, people started leaving the bus at bus stops. And yes, the guy that was in the very back with us left too. So we had the 4 seats, the back row, all to ourselves, and I could lay down. Instantly, I felt so much better. I couldn't really film a lot from the outside from our bus ride. I couldn't also see anything because I was just laying down. I had to stay safe, keep laying down, and close my eyes. Around 12:30, the bus arrived in Vlorë, Albania. So about 3 days ago, Paul printed out all our tickets for this move and he saw that the ferry actually leaves from Durrës, not from Vlorë. We thought the ferry would leave from Vlorë. So we only had a bus ticket from Sarandë to Vlorë. And so when Paul figured that out, he tried to get us another bus ticket from Vlorë to Durrës. But he couldn't do that online and he just read, or they told him online, oh, you can just do that when you are in Vlorë, there are buses, you just get a ticket there. And luckily we had a lot of time. The ferry wasn't supposed to leave until 10 p.m. So I stayed with the luggage and Paul tried to figure out where the bus is to go to Durrës, but he couldn't find it. So there was a guy and Paul talked to that guy and he made a deal with him that he would take us to Durrës for 50 euros. I was a bit worried about the taxi ride, about getting sick and nauseous. And so far, the taxi in the morning and the bus, they both had air fresheners, and I fucking hate those. That scent makes me so much more nauseous. Well, I basically hate any scents. Wow, it was a big taxi and I made Paul sit in the front, so I had the back seat all to myself and I could lay down. And we mostly just drove on the highway, freeway anyway, so not curvy roads and stuff. And there was also no air freshener in there. I could even sit up and look a little bit outside, but most of the times I just laid down. It was safer for me, so I didn't get much nauseous. Oh, wait, what? That wasn't a taxi. About halfway, I figured it out. It was just a super friendly guy that drove us to Durrës for 50 euros. If we would have taken a cab from a cab company, we would have probably paid between 80 and 90 euros. So Paul calls those scabs. Those are people, they basically act like a taxi driver, but they're not. They don't belong to a taxi company. I think he was Italian. Paul and he talked in broken Italian. He also stopped at a gas stop and they got a coffee. I went to the bathroom. He was super friendly. It was pretty cool. It was really cool to have our own driver and not sitting in the bus, and I could lay down. I loved it. A bus ride would have been a bit cheaper, yes, but Paul said not that much. I don't know how much it would have been. But I loved it, as I said, it was really cool. And he drove us to the port. Well, he couldn't drive us all the way to the port at first. We had to show our passports and then he could drive us through that thing and then to the port. So they wanted to see the passports already very early on. In other countries, you could just drive to the port without showing any passports. About 2:50 we arrived at the port and we were just waiting. Boarding time was 7 p.m. More like 7:40. We were first in line, and I just love traveling with ferries. Everything went so quickly, like the last time when we used ferries, when we moved from Turkey, from Fethiye, Turkey to Belgrade, Serbia. Here is one of those videos from that move. Luggage through the x-ray machines, walking through the detector, showing your passport, walking to the ferry. Oh, there were even big trucks that got on too. We weren't that many people. I'm pretty sure during high season there would have been like double or 3 times as many people. Yeah, this time there was even a lift in the ferry. All the other ferries we've used so far, there was no lift. So we had to leave Fat Boy, our check-in bag, in the storage area because there were just like lots of stairs and an escalator that was going up. And then by arrival, they turned off the escalator so you could walk down. So there was a lot of walking. No, not with Fat Boy. But this time the lift brought us up to our deck and almost in front of our cabin, not far away. And I prefer having all my luggage with me all the time anyways. Oh, having your own bed, shower, toilet, oh, it's just so awesome. I'm telling you, traveling with a ferry is so much more comfortable than by airplane. I really started to love to travel with a ferry. This time I took cooked meat onto the ferry. Last time when I googled what I can bring on the ferry from Turkey, a non-EU country, to Greece, to a EU country, it said like no meat and all kinds of restrictions. Hard-boiled eggs were okay. Here is the video about that. But so when I googled for what I can bring from Albania, from Durrës, not Flora, from Flora, Albania to Bari, Italy, where we were going, I couldn't really find anything. It just said like you can bring your own food or something like that. So I brought a lot of Tupperware full of cooked meat, and I didn't have any problems taking it onto the ferry or then in Italy bringing it off the ferry, so no problem at all. I was so hungry that day, so I didn't take any pictures of the food, but I prepared those 2 Tupperwares full of meat. I still have them from Turkey. So one of them was full and like really full of ground beef all the way. And the other one, there were 7 eggs, hard-boiled eggs, and 2 cut up pork steaks and some ground pork in it. So I brought a lot of meat. And I was so hungry. I ate almost all the meat and 3 hard-boiled eggs, and that actually should have lasted for 2.5 days. Yeah, but luckily I still also had canned food, salmon, and beef. This was part 1. Don't forget to subscribe here to not miss a video about my nomad life, to figure out how we got to Ljubljana, Slovenia, and if I had enough food during my trip. Stay happy, stay healthy. See you next time.